Zoning Board of Adjustment of the Township of Bloomfield is now in session for the regular meeting of September 9th, 2021. Notice of the time, date, location, and agenda of this meeting, to the extent then known, was provided at least 48 hours prior to the commencement of this meeting in the following manner pursuant to provisions of Chapter 231 of Law 1975, which is also known as the Open Public Meeting Act. 1. By posting such notice in the Bulletin Board of Municipal Building, and 2. By mailing such notices to the offices of the Independent Press of Bloomfield Life and the Star Alleged to, excuse me,
Mute that one person, 030, yeah, next one.
due to the ongoing pandemic and after the prevent further spread of COVID-19, this meeting will be held remotely. Public is invited to attend by accessing the meeting either by telephone or video link. The meeting will also be available for viewing on Channel 35 Comcast or Channel 30 Verizon, or by streaming live on Facebook Live at the Township website, www.bloomfieldtownshiPNJ.com. Public is invited to participate via Zoom by accessing the web link or calling the telephone number provided on the agenda. Anyone who wishes to review the materials can contact the Board Secretary Nicole Cosenza and Cosenza@BloomfieldTownshipNJ.com, or telephone 973-680-4011. And with all that having been said, Ms. Cosenza, please call the roll.
Okay. Mr. Johnson?
Present.
Mr. Prince?
Present.
Mr. Balnicki?
Present.
Mr. Wagner? Mr. Wagner?
Present.
Oh, there you are.
Sorry.
That's okay. Ms. Hilaire?
Present.
Chairman Machowski?
Here.
Also present is the board attorney, Mike Rubin, the board engineer, Anthony Marucci. We have John Jar on right now for Brightview and Steve Martini on for Nishuane.
All right, thank you. That brings us to item 2, communications. We have a letter from Mr. Mariansky representing 75 East Elmira Street. They're requesting an adjournment due to their low position on tonight's agenda. They wish to be moved to September 22nd special meeting at 7 p.m. They're waiving time constraints, and if we adjourn at this meeting, no further notice will be required. Is there any discussion, board?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. Are they present and available to speak, since we've had so many applications?
No, they communicated by mail.
Okay.
We often entertain written communications, and they can ask for an adjournment in that fashion.
But before they excuse themselves, do we not have to grant them permission to adjourn?
Oh, absolutely.
So I mean, they should be present tonight, in other words, right?
No, they don't have to be present. They have submitted a written request for adjournment, and we're discussing whether or not they should be adjourned right now. Then I'll entertain a motion and a vote.
Mr. Johnson, we really try not to impose upon attorneys the expense to their clients of hearing just to simply ask for an adjournment. This is a much simpler and more cost-effective way, and absent some problem, it's perfunctory.
Okay, I was just trying to get some clarification on that, since these applications are stacking up, and I just want to make sure that we're processing them as we can.
But
Yes, and they're so far down the list, it's highly unlikely we would get to them in any event. They would sit here all night, and we would not get to them.
Understood.
All right, any other discussion, board? May I have a motion to adjourn 75 East Elmira Street in special meeting September 22nd with no further notice being required?
They're still telling me.
So moved.
Mr. Valnicki moved.
They're still telling me that I can't get back in.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Prince seconds. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. I hear no one opposed. 75 Elmira is adjourned to a special meeting of September 22nd. Thank you, board. That brings us to minutes. We have no minutes to review this evening. Moving on, we have memorializing resolutions.
Chairman, we
Or
have
these-
four
We have-
letters from
Yes.
applicants requesting adjournments.
I don't have them.
I forwarded them to everybody. Everybody has them.
No, I don't have them.
We have one for, New Singular Wireless,
Okay.
400 Hoover Avenue, which is D, which is requesting the September 22nd special meeting.
That's what kind of variance?
That's it's probably a height variance, a conditional use variance.
So
It's a new antenna on top of the building.
we do not anticipate 7 members of that meeting.
They understand that.
All right. And they're waiving time constraints? Mr.
Yeah.
Rubin, I hope. All
Yes,
right.
they sent me a letter that I emailed out. You want me to read that in?
Yeah.
Okay, so it says, Dear Ms. Cosenza, this firm represents the applicant, New Singular Wireless, PCS LLC, AT&T, or applicant in connection with the above application to the Bloomfield Zoning Board of Adjustment. This letter is to acknowledge, accept that our application scheduled for the zoning board meeting tonight, September 9th, can be carried to the special hearing date of September 22nd, 2021. Please announce this new date at the zoning board meeting tonight so that no further notice will be required. The applicant consents to an extension of the statutory time within which the board must act upon this matter to September 30th, 2021. Please call me with any questions. Very truly yours, Christopher Quinn of Pinillas Halpern, the attorney, the law firm.
Thank you. Any discussion, board? Hearing no one, may I have a motion to adjourn 400 Hoover Avenue to the special meeting of September 22nd without further notice being required?
So moved.
That was
Mr. Valnicki moves. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Prince seconds. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed, please say nay. I hear no one opposed. 400 Hoover Avenue is adjourned to the special meeting September 22nd, 7 p.m. for the notice required. What's the next one?
So we also have, I have a couple of things. 387 Broughton Avenue sent a letter for an adjournment. We also have to withdraw the last application, 17 Walnut. And I believe the attorney for 337 Essex Avenue is on, and he would also like to request an adjournment. So you tell me what you want to do first.
387.
337.
Charles Housing.
No. Oh, okay, gotcha. That was a written communication from Gassion Pomaco. I'm writing to respectfully request an adjournment with regard to the above captioned matter, which is scheduled to be heard September 9th. To the next regularly scheduled meeting of the board. He's requesting the adjournment because it's far down the agenda and they did not expect to be heard tonight. In consideration of the adjournment request, the applicant agrees to suspend any and all applicable time limitations for municipal action for the duration of the adjournment. Thank you in advance, and that was from Robert Gassion of Gassion Pomaco. They're asking for an adjournment until October 7th.
Any discussion, board? Hearing no one, may I have a motion to adjourn 387 Broughton Avenue to the meeting of October 7th, no further notice being required?
So moved.
Mr. Valnicki moves. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr.
I'll
Johnson?
second.
Mr. Johnson?
Got it, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? I hear no one opposed. 383, 387 Broughton is adjourned to October 7th, 7 p.m. No further notice.
So we have Mr. Frank Mataria is on for 337 Essex Avenue. He would like to request an adjournment.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen of the board, thank you so much. Due to a sudden case and of a family emergency with our architect, we request an adjournment to the special meeting of September 2nd with no further notice being required.
And you waive time constraints?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, may I just
Go
ask
ahead.
a question? How many items do we have for the September 22nd
they're all bulk. And we had 2 on, plus with tonight, that would be 3 more. It would be 5 total. I would say that would be it.
Would it be perhaps more reasonable to adjourn any new applications to the October 7th meeting, because no one else will be heard on the 22nd?
No one, well, I don't know how prudent that would be, because 224 Broad Street is supposed to be coming back for October 7th. So I mean, it's just my opinion that they would have a better chance of being heard on September 22nd.
Okay,
That's up to you guys.
All right. September 22nd, we'll try it.
Okay.
Any discussion, board?
do they not actually have a better chance of being heard tonight?
He can't, there's a
They
family
can't be heard.
emergency. Yeah,
There was a family emergency with the architect.
right.
They
Understood.
called me at the last minute.
All right, thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you, understand.
Any other discussion, board? In that case, may I have a motion to adjourn 337 Essex Avenue, the special meeting of September 22nd?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Prince moves, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Galnicki seconds, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Is there anyone opposed? I hear no one opposed. 337 Essex is adjourned to the special meeting September 20th, 2 p.m. No further notice is required.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
The last thing I have is that withdrawal for 17 Walnut.
And they're just simply withdrawing their application?
Correct. Their attorney wrote a letter, and the applicant himself wrote his son wrote a letter. The letter from the attorney, Paul Sanambrosio, was dated July 23rd. Thank you for your letter of July 2nd, deeming my client's application complete. However, my client has determined he would like to withdraw his application. You may remove his case from the September agenda. That was signed by the attorney, Paul Sanambrosio. And the applicant's son explained further in an email that he saw that the construction would not be feasible for him at this time.
Mr. Rubin, do we need to take any action on that?
I would just accept a motion to withdraw the matter without prejudice.
All right, can I have a motion to withdraw the matter of 17 Walnut Terrace without prejudice?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Johnson moves, is there a second?
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Prince seconds, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Hearing no one opposed, motion carries. 17 Walnut is withdrawn without prejudice.
Thank you. That's all I have,
Moving
Chairman.
right along. Thank you. We have 3 memorializing resolutions this evening, Board. These reflect decisions taken by the Board at previous hearings. They've been distributed in advance to the Board for review. The first one is a resolution in the matter of the applicant of John Dark and Eugene Dark for a variant pursuant to NJSA 40:55D-70D2 to permit the expansion of a non-conforming use, including the reconstruction of the roof, the enclosure of the front porch, the construction of a new deck, and the use of additional basement areas living space, which will expand an existing 2-family dwelling in the R1A single-family residential district property located at 62 Mill Street, Block 783, Lot 19. Board, does anyone have comments, recommended changes, or other discussion regarding this resolution? Anyone? Hearing no one, I'll entertain a motion to approve this resolution.
This can either be Mr. Valnicki, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Wagner, or Chairman Machalski. What just happened?
Mr. Sergio is sharing his screen.
Yeah, Mr. Sergio, there you go, thank you. Okay. Again, that could be Mr. Valnicki, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Wagner, or Chairman Machalski.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Galnicki moves the resolution. Is there a second?
I'll second. Mr. Wagner.
Mr. Wagner.
Seconds. Poll the board, please.
Okay, Mr. Valnicki,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Wagner,
Yes.
Chairman Michalski.
Yes. Motion carries, the resolution is approved. Thank you, board. That brings us to the resolution in the matter of the application of Robert John Beaton and Alicia Nicole Vallejo for variance pursuant to NJSA 40:55D-70C to permit the widening of a driveway accessing a one-car attached garage accessory to a single-family dwelling and for a design waiver for the proximity of the driveway to a lot line at the property located at 82 Eden Place, Block 394, Lot 67. Any discussion regarding this resolution, board? Hearing no one, may I have a motion to approve the resolution?
This one could either be Mr. Valnicki, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Prince, Mr. Wagner, or Chairman Michalski.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Johnson moves, is there a second?
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Prince seconds. Please poll the board.
Okay. Mr. Valnicki,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Prince,
Yes.
Mr. Wagner,
Yes.
Chairman Michalski.
Yes. Motion carries, resolution was approved. Thank you, board. And the final memorializing resolution we have this evening is a resolution in the matter of the application of S. Alexander Properties LLC for a variance pursuant to NJSA 40:55D-70D1, permitting the expansion of a mixed residential and commercial building in the M1 Industrial District, which received a use variance in 2017 at the property located at 258 Montgomery Street, Block 313, Lot 48. Again, this has been distributed to the board in advance in draft form for review. Board, any discussion? I hear no one. May I have a motion, please, to approve this resolution?
Okay, this one could be Mr. Valnicki, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Wagner, or Chairman Michalski.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Mr. Wagner approves it, moves it rather. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Valnicki seconds. Hold the board, please.
Okay, Mr. Valnicki,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Wagner,
Yes.
Chairman Michalski.
Yes. Motion carries, resolution is approved. Thank you, board. Next item on the agenda is 3. We need to schedule yet another special meeting to try to whittle down the agenda. Nicole, Ms. Cosenza has polled the board and determined that the best date to gather the most members is October 20th. That's a Wednesday, board. Note that it's a Wednesday at 7 p.m., October 20th. Any discussion? Hearing no one, may I have a motion to establish a special meeting on October 20th, which is a Wednesday at 7 p.m.?
So moved.
Mr. Valnicki moves it. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr.
Mr.
Wagner.
Wagner seconds it. Please poll the board.
Okay, you got it. Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Prince,
Yes.
Mr. Valnicki,
Yes.
Mr. Wagner,
Yes.
Ms. Hilaire,
yes,
Chairman Michalski.
Yes. Motion carries. Please publish notice, Ms. Cosenza, for special meeting, October 20th.
Okay,
Okay, that brings us to item 4, upcoming applications to consider for review by our board planner or the board traffic expert. We have no such applications to review this evening. So we'll move along to item 5 under old business. Item 5A is the application of Michael Ganella as applicant, Alice Hanson as owner, for bulk variances and any such other relief as may be required from the zoning boards of the Township of Bloomfield to keep an already constructed driveway expansion and fence in a residential one-family R1B zone, the premises known as map 27, block 736, lot 12, better known as 212 Hoover Avenue. Are the applicants here tonight, or is there a counsel for the applicants?
I did see
I'm president.
Mr. Ganella is here.
Yep,
Are you representing yourself, sir?
yes.
All right, swear him in, please, Ms. Casson.
Okay, Mr. Ganella, raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Just state your name for the record.
Michael Gower.
Okay. And Chairman, this is the remainder of this application. I don't know if you remember, we did hear part of this already at the July meeting.
If I may, Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I just heard the July meeting, and every member present tonight was present at that meeting, so all are eligible to vote.
Correct.
You can go ahead, Mr. Ganella, and tell us what your current plans are, or what you're requesting.
Yeah, so the last time we spoke, there was question about if I would be able to take down the old existing fence, so that way all the new fence would be seen and it would all be, together. And then I also have a fence in between my driveway and the parking lot of the store, which would be, it's an old fence, so I was asked if I could then replace that with the new, so this way everything's in uniform and match. So yes, I can do all of that. I also had I already got the permit for the curb and the apron, and I got the permit for the tree also. So those were two questions that, I didn't have those permits at that time, so I said I would take care of that, so I got those now also.
I can confirm that as well.
All right, thank you. Questions, board? Discussion?
Yes, I would, I believe at the, that July meeting, Mr. Ganella was supposed to confer with Mr. Marucci also. Can we hear from Mr. Marucci if that discussion took place?
No, I never met with Mr. Marucci.
I guess then if there are other board members speaking, then I would like to hear from Mr. Marucci, his comments on this.
All right, any board members have a question for the applicant, please?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Go ahead, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Ganella, at the July meeting, I believe, in addition to standardizing the fencing materials, there was also some discussion as to whether there was any buffering or landscaping that was possible. And I think there was some question as to, because of the size of the driveway and such, can you remind us where that has landed, or if there's anything that you have done or will be doing in that regard?
Well, where my driveway ends, and then I have Belgian block, there's already about 3.5 feet between there and the fence that has mulch in there, it's like a flower bed. And then on the other side of the fence, there's probably like another 3.5 feet that's on the parking lot of the store side before their parking lot starts. So that, I think somebody did ask me that, but then I had made it clear that I already have like 3.5 feet that is like a flower bed. It's just all mulch right now, and there's no flowers in there.
Okay, but it was not, so in other words, the area that is in front of the driveway that is fenced, that's a 6-foot high fence, is that correct?
No, the one that's, you mean that's in between my driveway and the parking lot for the store, that goes along the side of it?
That runs at the end of your driveway.
Into going into my backyard?
Correct.
Yeah, that's a 6-foot fence that
All
goes
right.
into my backyard.
And I think we had talked about some buffering or some landscaping in front of that fence because of the height, it was not in compliance.
I don't follow, because there's a gate, that's how you get into my backyard. I don't know, it's the driveway and then there's the gate. I'm not following I think they were asking if, instead of having the fence in my backyard, if I could do like arborvitae's. But the problem was I have two 80-pound dogs, and, you know, my backyard, there would be no security needed. That's why I said, I really need a fence there. I thought that's when they were asking about some kind of planting.
Okay, yeah, no, I guess I'm actually referring to, I believe there's a fence that separates, that runs at the end of your driveway, that runs from the house to the side yard, to the property line. Is that not the case?
I think, well, my driveway, you pull into my driveway, and then there's a fence that goes across. Yeah,
Right.
and there's my gate that goes into my yard.
Okay, and that fence is a 6-foot-high fence, correct?
Yes.
Okay, which would, I mean, that would not typically be in compliance. I believe that would be required a 4-foot fence. And I think we had talked about putting some landscaping in front of that fence. If that's not your recollection, then,
Yeah, and I thought the landscaping was in a different area. I didn't think it was like, pulling into my driveway, staring at the fence. I didn't think that's where they were talking about putting, like an arborvitae to cover that part of the fence.
yeah, to be honest with you, I just wanted to confirm if that was a part of our discussion. I don't want to, belabor the point.
Right.
So I guess at this point, I just prefer to move on.
Okay.
If I may, Michael Rubin, Mr. Chairman, I just want to warn the board that this is a through lot. And one of the issues that arose at the end of the evening was that a variance was needed for the 6-foot fence in what we all consider to be a rear yard, but is really a front yard that fronts on the street.
Valentine?
Valentine. So that issue arose at the end of the last meeting, and I don't remember how it was resolved. My notes don't indicate how it was resolved, but I know that it was laid out there that a variance was needed for the 6-foot fence and a solid fence, I think, in a front yard.
I think that's,
Perhaps, Mr. Johnson, perhaps that's the area where you were thinking about the arborvitae.
Yes, I think that's where the question came up about planting in the back fence, in the backyard.
okay, all right.
I think that's where, yeah, I remember something about arborvitae, but I'm pretty sure it was talking about in the backyard.
My recollection was
There's a little,
my recollection was between the fence, Valentine, and the street right of way, sort of up on the hill where you have that other smaller fence, which I now understand you're gonna remove. I thought it was right there between the sidewalk and the 6-foot fence, whether they could fit in there. I could be wrong about that. My recollection isn't as good as it used to be when I was younger.
Yeah, we're talking about Valentine Road though, correct?
Yes, between the sidewalk and up on that little elevated, area where you have your fence, your double fence
Right.
now. You remove the lower fence, and the question was whether there were plans that would soften the fence from the sidewalk.
That's correct.
That's what I recollect, but again, people may remember better than I.
I think I remember the same as well, and I think we used the Google Maps and the Street View. If that will help, I think we used that if you don't mind if I can put that up, it will facilitate the conversation we have here. Is anyone opposed to that?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, share.
Yep.
Is this visible? Yeah, I think is this here, right, Mr. Rubin?
Yeah, okay, so you're saying, all right, that's where the confusion is. So
Yeah,
we're saying if we take down the small little fence, could I put like arborvitae's outside there is what you're saying, to cover up that fence?
Yes.
Once the small one comes down?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a problem. I actually was gonna add, later on tonight, I would like to consider redoing that wall. And I was just gonna say, before I have these problems again, do I need to go for a regular permit, or is that zoning also? Because my wall is all crumbled up in the back there too, it looks terrible.
The retaining wall?
Mr. Marucci, that's Mr. Marucci's jurisdiction.
As long as the wall is under 4 feet, all you need is a zoning permit. You don't need any construction permits. And it looks like it is less than, it looks like it is less than.
Yeah, I believe it is less than 4 feet, yeah. So yeah, that wouldn't be a problem, because like I said, I think it looks ugly with the wall also, so I would have no problem. I would like to redo the wall, and I could put some more arborvitae's up there to cover up the fence also.
Yeah, again, I'm not a horticulturist, and I don't know how much space a planting like that needs, and I don't know how much room there is between the edge of the wall and the fence. So
There's probably-
I don't want, the one thing I don't want to do is commit you to doing something that's not practically doable because
Right.
it can't support the vegetation.
Right, I got you, okay.
Maybe what we
Alright.
could say is you could work with the township forester to design some kind of a landscape buffer there that would.
To break it up a little bit, I got you, just to soften up the fence. Yeah, I have no problem with that. It would look a lot
Are
nicer
you
too.
okay with
you know.
that?
You know, with replacing the wall and removing the shorter fence, it's gonna look much better, so I have no problem with that other, provision of working with the forester.
All right.
Yeah, I'm good
Other
with that.
questions?
Mr. Mechner, while you've still got that view up there, the Google Map view, can you orient that so that we're looking at the front of the house?
Sure. Bear with me.
Sure.
There you go.
Quicker than driving.
So that's actually the fence that I was referring to. You can see at the end of the driveway, there's a new fence there.
Oh, yeah.
Appears to be 6 foot.
Yeah, that's the gig. Yeah, nobody ever mentioned arborvitae's there. I don't think that's what they were talking about.
And there's your pavement, your driveway extends all the way to the fence line, is that correct?
It's, what do you mean? To right up, no, see, then there's Belgian block, and then there's like 3.5 feet between the Belgian block and the fence to the right.
To the side yard, yes, but to
Yeah.
the end of the driveway, that's solid pavement, right?
Yeah, it ends right there, yes, and then you walk
Okay.
into my yard.
Okay, all right, that's really what I was trying to get clarification on. I
Okay.
appreciate it, you've clarified that.
Any other questions for Mr. Ganella?
I just have
Is there
one.
a member of the public?
Is the double fence that runs along the parking lot, the smaller fence that runs along the parking lot, is that being removed also?
Well, yeah, that's what I had just said, we discussed that the last time. That it would look better if I took that down and put the same type of fence that I have up so it all matches and just step it down to that same height, and I would have no problem doing that. I think that fence is very old and rickety anyway, so I would have no problem taking that down and getting my same fence, just cutting it down lower to the same height that it is now and bring that down alongside. So that way, you know, then the fence is all uniform.
I don't know that we would want a solid fence coming all the way down the side. Again, I read back to Mr. Marucci, that would definitely need a variance, and I would be concerned about site distance issues. What I'm asking is, you have your newer 6-foot fence, and then on the
Right.
parking lot side of it is another fence. I assume that other fence it has to stay there because it was put in by the neighbor?
No, that's all my fence. I can
And
take
is
that.
that second fence also coming out, that lower fence also coming out?
Where we talking, where the cursor is now towards the back?
Yes.
Yeah, so the little fence will be out and all you'll see is just the good fence. So you're not
Okay.
gonna see that double look.
All right, so the double fence will come up both along Valentine and along the parking lot, correct?
Yes, yep, correct.
Just want to be able to write clearly.
Yep, so this way the fence will all match, it'll all be uniform.
Just one question, Mr. Chairman. Sorry. What height level is that new fence versus the old? Is this a 6-foot fence on the side
Yeah,
here?
and the old fence is about 5 feet.
Oh, okay, all right. Thank you.
Yeah, just to go back, whether or not there should be a 6-foot fence, a solid fence coming down towards the front of your yard. I think that Mr. Marucci should speak to that because it could create sight distance problems on the sidewalk and for cars coming in and out of that. I think the low open fence is, first of all, required by ordinance. So, Mr. Marucci,
It's the R1B zone, so he is allowed a 4-foot high fence solid up to the end of the house, and from the end of the house towards the sidewalk should be an open fence, no more than 4 feet high. That's the ordinance. He can have the solid fence along the house, but again, 4 feet high. That's the ordinance, unless the board wants to grant any kind of variance. I have to agree, there could be a sight distance problem for both his driveway and also for the parking lot next to him. So I would keep that part 4 feet and open. Or if I may, maybe just end the fence at the house. So I don't see any reason to have the fence all the way over. I mean, it's,
the only reason why I would say is, now with the store, and now it's actually changing hands, it's becoming like a cafe or restaurant, I need privacy, because, I mean, people are, as it is now, people pull in there, I find cigarettes in my driveway all the time, to just have it wide open to a parking lot, you know, it's kind of,
then I'll go back to what I said. According to the ordinance, from the end of the house towards the sidewalk has to be no more than 4 feet high,
4
open, 60% open.
okay. Yeah, because the fence that's there now, I guess they call it a shadow box, or whatever. You know, it's like a slat on each side of it, and it staggers.
looks more open than that to me.
It looks like one side from here.
Yeah, it looks like on one side it is,
double
and
slatted.
then, yes, and then the other side it's opposite. I think they call it a shadow box.
It's only on one side,
Yeah, I think it's only on one
from what I
side.
can tell.
No, it's double-sided, that,
Oh,
it's a
you
shadow
can kind of
box.
see, yeah, if you look,
When you look on an
Mostly
angle,
it's
you'll
overlap.
see through them, but if you look straight on at it, it kind of looks like you really can't see through it much.
yeah, I think it's hard to tell from
What-
this view.
Whatever it is, it has to be 60% open in the front yard.
I'm sorry for me to go get my sandwich.
Any other questions for Mr. Ganell?
Listen, I'm here to, you know, whatever you tell me I can do there, that's what I'll do. So if that, you know, if like you gotta do a 4 foot, 60%, that's what I'll do. And this way, at least the fence will all match, it'll, you know, it's nice and sturdy.
All right, it can be 4 foot and solid directly on the side of the house, but once you pass the front of the house.
The
near
front,
the
I
street,
got you.
It
Okay,
has to be 60% open for sight triangles, for safety.
okay, I understand, okay, so go straight across from the house to there, it could be solid in there, it's gotta be open, okay, I got you,
Correct.
all right.
Any member of the public have a question for Mr. Ganell?
I would just need, I can't, I need, the.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Let me take it down. There you go.
No problem. Let me just take a look and see if anybody's hands are up. I don't see any.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Ganella. Will please swear in Mr. Marucci?
Okay, Anthony, raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Just state your name for the record.
Anthony Marucci.
Thank you, Anthony.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, I believe that Mr. Ganella has complied with everything that the board had requested, especially with requests to the Valentine Road frontage, and my 2 comments with respect to applying to the engineering department for the driveway and for the tree removal, as Mr. Ganella stated, those were already taken care of. So the only once the board approves the, if the board approves the resolution, all I need is for him to come in and submit a zoning permit with the improvements that he's made and he's going to make, so we have it on record. And so that's all I have.
Any questions for Mr. Marucci, board? Any member of the public have a question for Mr. Marucci?
Nope.
All right. Is there any member of the public who wishes to be sworn in and provide testimony regarding this application?
I don't see any hands.
I hear no one. All right. Mr. Ganella, you have the opportunity to summarize if you wish to do so before the board makes a decision.
No, I'm good with it.
Okay, thank you. Time for public hearing is closed. Board, time for discussion.
Kick us off, Mr. Chairman, if you'd like.
Go ahead.
I think Mr. Ganella has been pretty I appreciate his candor and his cooperation. I think he's been very helpful with this application. I'm okay to move forward with this application with what we stipulated. I just want to make sure I understand what we've talked about since it's stretched over a couple different meetings. My understanding is a consistent fence along the rear yard or the pass-through yard, where it's going past the house. It's a 60% visibility as a 4-foot high, and that there be buffering on the Valentine side of the yard in front of the fence. Just to make sure if I've missed anything.
That's my understanding. Do you know anything else, Mr. Rubin?
No, I think that's pretty much everything.
Mr. Balnick here, I have one question. The wall along Valentine Road, that will be repaired, improved there, and then he'll get together with the town forester for the buffering on that,
Correct.
correct?
Correct.
So the repair of the wall is a condition of approval?
Well, I mean, I think that it's not unreasonable, given that the fence that needs a variance sits on top of the wall. So I think from an aesthetic point of view, to make the fence more acceptable, to include the wall would be a reasonable condition.
All right. So that would be another condition, Mr. Wayne.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with this application as it is, with the conditions we stated.
All right. Any other discussion, board?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to support Mr. Wagner in those comments and in the conditions that we've discussed. And I agree that the applicant has been quite accommodating to our requests.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Anyone else? Hearing no one else, I'll entertain a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to approve with the conditions that we've stated.
All right, thank you. Mr. Wagner moves it. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mr.
Mr.
Bowden?
Valnicki seconds. Hold the board, please.
Okay. Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Prince?
Yes.
Mr. Valnicki?
Yes.
Mr. Wagner?
Yes.
Ms. Hilaire?
Yes.
Chairman Machowski?
Yes, application is approved with conditions. Thank you, Mr. Ganella.
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it.
Good night, Mr. Ganella.
Good night. All right, board, that brings us to old business item 5C. It's the application of Ann Lauda as applicant and owner for my site plan approval, a use variance, bulk variances, and any such other relief as may be required from zoning ordinance of the township of Bloomfield to convert a one-family dwelling to a four-family dwelling in a residential one-family R1B zone premises known as map 11, block 349, lot 3, better known as 65 Park Avenue. Is counsel for the applicant here this evening?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. John Vettery on behalf of Ann Lauda, 65 Park Avenue here in Bloomfield. Before we begin, I just wanted to get an understanding of the number of members that are here tonight that would be able to hear this. I believe Commissioner Balnecki had recused himself at the last meeting based upon a relationship with the objector's attorney's firm. I would view that as a waivable conflict, and we would waive the conflict such to allow him to vote if that was his pleasure, and if that's the board's pleasure.
I think that would leave us with 6, even if he were to join.
Yes, if that were the case, we would proceed with the 6.
Did Mr. Balnicki hear the first, did he even pay attention to the first hearing? 'Cause if he did not-
Yes, I did, but, I recused myself because I just felt uncomfortable with the situation, and I still feel this way. I still like to be recused.
All right, Mr. Balnicki remains recused, so that means we will have no more than
5.
5. Are all 5 qualified?
They are.
Yeah.
All right, so we only have 5 qualified members.
Yeah, under that circumstance, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Given that circumstance, I think that it would be wise for us to adjourn to the next meeting.
All right. What would that be, Ms. Cosenza, the next regular meeting?
October
No, we
7th.
don't have,
Was there anything at the September meeting? I have a conflict with October 7th.
September, we do not anticipate having 7 members.
No, at September?
Correct.
The
I mean,
special meeting of September 22nd, we do not anticipate 7 members. We anticipate 6 or less.
Yeah.
I mean, we have the special meeting that we just made on October 20th, and we have nothing on that right now. If you want to take it till then, right, as of now, you'd be the only thing on that agenda. Just a
But
suggestion.
we don't have 7 members for that either, as I recall.
Correct.
Is there 7 for the October 7th meeting?
I don't know yet. I haven't polled everybody. I haven't done that agenda.
I see. So why don't you list, I'll try to work out my conflict. Why don't you list us for the October 7th meeting, and if we have to adjourn further from there, we can.
All right?
Okay.
Board, any discussion regarding that adjournment? Hearing no one, may I have a motion to adjourn 65 Park Avenue to the regular meeting of October 7th. No further notice being required since this is the notice given in the open public meeting. And do I understand correctly, you waive time constraints to October 7th?
Yes,
Sir.
Mr. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Have a motion, board?
So moved, Mr. Chairman. I'll second.
That was Mr. Prince and Mr. Johnson.
Correct.
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. I hear no nays. Which means 65 Park is adjourned to October 7th, no further notice required. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Moving right along, old business item 5C. It's the application of Charbel Solta as applicant owner for use variance, bulk variances, and any such other relief as may be required from the zoning boards of the Township of Bloomfield to convert a one-family dwelling into a two-family dwelling in a residential one-family R1A zone on the premises better known as MAP 33, Block 919, Lot 60, better known as 231 Broughton Avenue. Is there counsel for the applicant here this evening?
Mr. Chairman?
No.
I guess there's no, Mr. Chairman, this is your traffic consultant. I believe there's no need for me to continue on with the meeting. There are no further applications that require our assistance. Would it be okay if we were to close out for the evening?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Sorry for the interruption. In that case, thank you all.
Have a good evening.
Joe sends his warmest regards. He's sorry he couldn't make it.
No problem.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Jarrett.
Good night.
And I, So is Mr. Salter here representing himself, or is there counsel for Mr. Salter?
Yeah, how are you? No, I am here myself, there's no counsel. I have the architect basically and, other people, but no counsel.
All right. Mr. Salter, the board has 6 members this evening. You are asking for a D variance that requires 5 affirmative votes to pass, to be approved. So you would need to get 5 out of 6 votes rather than 5 out of 7. And we offer you the opportunity to adjourn if you wish to adjourn to another meeting when we have more members present, or you may choose to continue tonight. You realize the reason is,
Yes, go, sorry.
the reason we offer the adjournment is because you're at a disadvantage, meeting 5 out of 6 versus 5 out of 7, just so you understand.
So when would this be adjourned to?
Next regular meeting is October 7th. We know there's not enough members on September 22nd, so the next regular meeting is October 7th.
Can I would have to check with my architect and, other people if they are on the meeting.
We could take a 2-minute break if the chairman says that's okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I'll take a 5-minute break.
No, we'll take a 5-minute recess. We'll be back at 8:20, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Zoning Board of Adjustment is in session once again. We're hearing the application of Charbel Salter in the address known as 231 Broughton Avenue. Mr. Salter?
Yeah, I'm here.
Are you going to be continuing this evening, or you wish to adjourn?
No, we're gonna adjourn. I just have a question. We would be the first on the 7th, is that correct?
No. That's not correct. You would not be the first. You would be, from what I can remember, you would be, hold on, the 3rd.
Mr. Salter, the applicants are heard old business first, then new business. And within those two groups, in the order that the applications were deemed complete. So that's where you fall, whatever that turns out to be.
Correct.
Okay,
At any given meeting, that's how it turns out.
okay, no problem. I mean, we're gonna have to adjourn to the 7th.
All right.
Okay.
Mr. Salter, I have a question for you before we adjourn this matter. Could you tell us, is your architect also a licensed planner in the state of New Jersey?
I'm sorry?
Is your architect a licensed planner?
I believe they are on the phone. Do you mind if they step in?
Yes, I'm a licensed planner. I'm the architect and licensed planner for that application.
So, Mr. Mileto, you would be testifying as a planner as well?
Yes.
All right. Any questions, Mr. Rubin?
Yeah, the plan I have shows the architect of record is Mr. Koenig.
Okay, then I'll be the planner. I was supposed to be the planner for that application.
Okay, but the plans are prepared by Todd L. Koenig, Architect PC.
He is also on the meeting.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Mileto, you would be the planner testimony, regarding planning testimony, correct?
Correct.
All right, thank you, that's all we just wanted to make sure that there was planning testimony for this.
All right.
Thank you.
Any discussion regarding the adjournment, board? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn 231 Broughton Avenue to the regular meeting of October 7th, no further notice being required.
So moved.
Mr. Belnicki moves it.
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Prince seconds. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Hearing no one opposed, 231 Broughton Avenue is adjourned to the regular meeting of October 7th, 7 PM. No further notice is required. Thank you, Mr. Salter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. We've already adjourned application D, we've adjourned application E. That brings us to old business 5E. Old business 5E is the application of Carlos Palmeras as applicant and owner for bulk variances and any such other relief that's may be required from zoning ordinance of Township of Bloomfield to expand an existing garage in a residential one-family R1A zone on the premises known as MAP 12, Block 281, Lot 49, better known as 56 Monroe Place.
Good evening, Chairman.
Palmeras, good evening.
I am here, and I am here with Mr. John Fallon of Fallon Pacheco Architects, who will present the project.
Okay, Mr.
Are you going to
Fallon,
provide,
oh, go ahead,
are
I'm
you
sorry.
providing testimony? Are you going to testify first, Mr. Palmeras, or are you going to testify at all?
I may testify, but I'm going to let Mr. Fallon, who's much more knowledgeable in architecture.
All right. Okay,
Okay, Mr.
so swear in Mr. Palmeras, please.
Mr. Palmeras, okay. Mr. Palmeras, raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Just state your name for the record.
I, Carlos Flores, do solemnly swear to tell the truth.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Palmeras. Mr. Palmeras, you may introduce Mr. Fallon, and then we'll swear him in.
Thank you. Representing my project here at 56 Monroe Place is the incomparable Mr. John Fallon, who is very familiar with this project and also very familiar with work within the historic district where I reside. And I'd like to have him introduce the project and what we're doing here. And I can answer questions later and help summarize as well. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Palmeras. Go ahead, please, Mr. Fallon. Raise your right hand.
Mr. Fallon, do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Just state your name for the record.
John Fallon.
Thank you, Mr. Fallon.
So good evening, thank you to the board. The Palmeras are vintage car enthusiasts, and they also have a very strong feeling about historic preservation. And the proposed project that we have tonight is a result of both of those commitments. With their house in the historic district, they have been restoring their house step by step, working to bring it back to its original character. And this proposed garage is very much a part of that process. The purpose of the project is to allow them to properly store their vintage cars and enable them to safely move around within the garage. The existing garage is a 4-bay garage. It's not consistent with the historic district, and it also is a very tight and shallow garage that really doesn't enable anything much more than being able to pull a car into it. The proposed design is inspired by carriage houses that used to be seen in various areas in the township, and some within the historic district. The need for the variance is largely due to existing conditions that are non-compliant. The side and rear yard setbacks, and along with those, a proposed increase in building area. The projects previously had been presented to the Historic Preservation Commission, where it was unanimously approved. We feel that the project will enhance the property and the historic district, and we hope that you find this request favorably. I'd be happy to take any questions or talk about anything, in whatever detail you'd like.
Questions, board?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I have a question to the architects. Good evening. I have your drawings your drawings in front of me, And I just want to confirm, it's, the existing garage is 4 bays, and it would remain as a 4-bay garage, is that correct?
That is correct. The only thing we're looking to do is to extend it forward.
Extend it forward, okay, all right. And does the, other than the extension forward, is there anything else about the footprint of the garage that is expanded, or just the forward extension?
The forward, and then we're also increasing the height of the garage, but the height that we're increasing it to is 15 feet, which is within the requirements of the ordinance.
Okay. All right, thank you. That's all I have for now.
Thank you.
Other questions, board?
I just have one question, Mr. Chairman, Michael Rubin. Could you
Go ahead,
describe the
Mike.
roof so I can put it in? It's obviously not a peak roof, but of the slope front to back. Just, could you give me a little bit about, could you say you're raising the roof height, or the height, you must be putting on a new roof?
Correct. The existing roof is a flat roof. All we're doing is we're raising it up, and it has a slight slope for drainage purposes only. But it would be technically called a flat roof.
And which way does it slope?
It slopes towards the back.
Okay, with rear yard? Okay. That's
Yes.
all I did. Thanks.
Okay.
Any other questions, board? I have one question for Mr. Fallon. Mr. Fallon, I've noted that the required lot size in the R1A district is 5,000 square feet, whereas Mr. Palmera's lot is 7,522 square feet. It's roughly 50% larger than is required in the zone. In your opinion, does that contribute to the ability of the lot to absorb the additional area of the garage that's being proposed?
Yes, I certainly feel that way, especially when you look at the distance from the garage to the back of the house. It's still I don't have the exact measurement, but it's a good distance.
All right. Thank you.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
You said on the flat roof drain towards the rear of the garage, and then it, where does that drain off to?
Okay, we have two roof leaders on opposite ends. What they will do is they're going to come down onto splash blocks, and on both sides of the garage there's pervious soil. So it'll essentially be draining into pervious area.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions for Mr. Fallon? Does any member of the public have a question for Mr. Fallon?
I don't see any hands, Chairman. A lot of people signed off.
All right. If that's the case, there are no other questions. No other questions, I'll state thank you, Mr. Fallon.
Thank you.
Mr. Marucci? Is Mr. Marucci still with us?
Yes, he's here.
I'm here.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Just state your name for the record.
Anthony Marucci.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, my report on this application is dated July 23rd, 2021. As the architect stated, it's an existing garage. It's just going to be expanded towards the front. And with respect to the side yard and rear yard variances, even though they are variances, but they're staying in the same setbacks as what's there today. There is an increase in building coverage with the extension, but what's important to note is that there is no increase in impervious coverage because the extension is where there's existing asphalt today. And so I have no no problems with the application as it's presented. My only comment is that it did go before the Historic Preservation Commission, and the applicant has to comply with their recommendations.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Marucci. Any questions for Mr. Marucci? Any questions for Mr. Marucci? Anyone, does any member of the public have a question for Mr. Marucci?
No.
No, hear no one? Thank you, Mr. Marucci. All right. I think that we've reached the end of the witnesses and testimony from the witnesses. Mr. Palmeras, you have the opportunity to summarize if you wish to do so before the board reaches a decision.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, let me thank you and the members for the amount of work that you're doing. Having a little bit of experience in public service, I understand it's ungrateful work to have all these extra special meetings. Secondly, I want to thank Nicole, who's been extremely helpful and patient with me, helping me out. She's been wonderful in this process. I know you all know that. I'm a museum guy all my life, and historic preservation is at the core of who I am. And it is not often that we get to save every old building. It's even rarer for something like this to happen in the historic district, because we are taking a more modern building that does not jive with the district and make it look old. And that's really the goal here. It is the same approach that I take in all of my museum projects when I work in, whether it was a family father site or presidential site. And we have high standards here, and hence why this project has been slow. We want this carriage house. We really don't want to call it a garage anymore, but it'll be a carriage house in appearance because it'll match the historic architecture of our 1874 Victorian, which we believe will be not only a gift to me for certain, but it'll be a gift to this property, which will live in perpetuity, I hope, and for this neighborhood as people do come by and enjoy the architecture in this area. And it's very important for us to maintain that consistency. And so with that, we appreciate your careful review. I also want to thank the Historic Preservation Commission for its unanimous support of this project, recognizing some of those topics that I referenced just a moment ago. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you, sir. I think that brings us to the end of the public hearing. Time for a public hearing is closed. Board, time for discussion, please.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman and board members, I agree with this project, and I do not believe that the expansion of it will have any significant change in terms of the appearance of the property or the building, and more importantly, the water runoff that we're so all concerned about. I believe it's a good project, and that the Historical Review Board has given its approval, and it seems to be matching what they need, and I would say that this would be a good project for this board to approve as well.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Prince. Thank you. Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, I totally agree with Mr. Prince. Great project.
All right.
Making
Thank you,
something
Mr.
out of
Bellman.
place look where it's supposed to be, old again.
Agreed. Thank you. All right. Any other discussion, board? My only comment was I'll agree with my colleagues on these points, and I would add that we should, if we decide to approve it, condition the approval upon compliance with the recommendations of the Historic Preservation Commission. And with that being said, is there anyone else who wishes to speak? Hearing no one, board, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I will move that we approve this application as long as the applicant is in compliance, as he seems to be, with the Historic Review Board's recommendations.
All right, thank you, Mr. Prince. Mr. Prince has moved it. Is there a second?
Mr. Chairman, I will second that.
All right, Mr. Johnson seconds. Please pull the board.
Okay, Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Prince?
Yes.
Mr. Valnicki,
Yes.
Mr. Wagner,
Yes.
Ms. Hilaire,
Yes.
Chairman Machowski.
Yes, the application is approved.
Thank you, everyone, we appreciate it. Now, if my Cowboys can win, it'd be a terrific night.
Good luck.
Now.
Good luck.
I think I had better luck here.
You him, man.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.
very much.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
My
Good night.
husband is a huge
All
Cowboys.
right.
Mr. Chairman, apologize for interrupting. This is Brian Wilson from Tools Revo. I'm item J tonight, 6J, the new business, Homersman and Quartel. Earlier, we had discussed with the board attorney, Mr. Rubin, about a potential adjournment due to not having the full complement because we're seeking a D variance tonight. I apologize for the interruption, but we'd like to request that adjournment, just because I know that we're running late tonight, and also because we don't have a full complement. So if it meets with the board's approval, we would respectfully request that the meeting be carried to the October 7th next regularly scheduled meeting.
Okay, and you're waiving time constraints?
Absolutely, and we just respectfully request that, the announcement be made that no further notice is required.
We will do so. This announcement of adjournment tonight is at an open public meeting, is the required legal notice. Board, any discussion? All right. May I have a motion to adjourn 10 Alden Terrace to the regular meeting of October 7th. No further notice being required.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Valnicki moves it. Is there a second?
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Prince seconds. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? I hear no one opposed. Therefore, 10 Alden Terrace is adjourned to the regular meeting of October 7th at 7 p.m. No further notice is required. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Rubin. Nicole, thank you very much. We appreciate all your courtesies.
No problem.
Thank
Have a
you.
good evening.
And you as well. Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
this is Steve Martini from the Shoeing Group. I think that concludes any of the applications that were requiring planning review. So I was making the request if I can step away from the meeting at this time.
Certainly. Have a good evening.
Okay. Thank you.
No,
As well.
Mr. Chairman, I think we should keep, he's gone.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Good night.
He ran.
All right. So,
We have one left.
that brings us one left. Item 6I. It's the application to the Elaine Shina as applicant and owner for bulk variances and any such other relief as may be required from zoning ordinance, the Township of Bloomfield, to construct a paver patio in a residential one-family R1A zone on the premises known as MAP 46, Block 1296, Lot 3, better known as 9 Rutgers Place.
Just as a correction, Chairman, thank you to spell check. That should actually be Elaine Chin. I apologize. I didn't catch that.
All right.
Spell check turned it into China.
Sorry about that. Is the applicant here this evening?
Yes.
Miss Chin is there.
And are you
Yep.
representing yourself?
Yes.
All right, raise your right hand and be sworn in, please.
Miss Chin, do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Just state your name for the record.
Elaine Chin.
Thank you, Miss Chin.
I'm applying for a bulk variance to install a 12 by 12 foot paver patio adjacent to the rear of my house. I reside in the R1A zone that permits 45% of the property to be covered by an impervious surface. A 144 square feet patio would increase it to 47.29. Therefore, I must receive approval for a bulk variance to my property.
Okay.
Questions, board?
Mr. Chairman, I do have a question to the applicant.
Go ahead.
Good evening, Ms. Chin.
Evening.
The paver patio that you are wanting to install, that directly abuts the rear of your house, is that correct, and extends from the rear of the house?
That is correct. Adjacent to the rear.
And that would run along the existing driveway to the garage area?
That is correct.
And does it end where the garage begins, basically?
No, it doesn't go as far as the garage.
Okay.
It stops before the garage.
Okay, I'm just trying to get a sense. I've pulled up the property on Google Maps, and I just want to get a sort of a feeling as to what we're looking at here. All right, thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Go ahead.
Good evening, Ms. Chen. The area where what I'm looking for is the amount of grass or amount of unpaved area that you have around the patio and the driveway. How far does the driveway, the paving begin and ends?
It would start from adjacent to the house and extend not as far as the garage, because for 12 feet.
And the driveway, does your new paving or your new patio intend to touch the paving on the driveway, or is there a impervious space between the two?
There is an impervious space between the two.
Do you know roughly what that distance is?
I would say about 3 to 4 feet.
Okay.
Where I plan to put some plantings down.
Okay, and the space that's next to the garage on the right-hand side, just behind your patio as well, your proposed patio, that's grass, that's impervious as well?
No.
It is grass or it's impervious?
It's all grass.
Okay,
Adjacent to the
Okay.
driveway, it's all grass.
okay, so the patio will be something like an island surrounded by greenery?
Correct.
Oh, great, thank you.
Questions, board? All right. Any other questions? Does any member of the public have a question for Ms. Chin?
Nobody's raising their
I hear
hand.
no one.
No.
All right, thank you, Ms. Chin. Mr. Marucci, can we swear in Mr. Marucci, please?
Sure. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Just state your name for the record.
Anthony Marucci.
Thank you, Ant.
Mr. Chairman and members of the board, this application is basically just for an increase in impervious coverage, as the applicant has stated. Just to put in perspective, the rear yard from the rear of the house to the back property line is approximately 50 feet, and from the garage to the sideline is 35 feet. So there's a substantial lawn area in the backyard, and the patio that's being proposed is very small in comparison to that 12 by 12. So I don't see any issues here. I don't see any drainage issues. I don't see any issues at all. It's basically de minimis in terms of the increase in impervious coverage, in my opinion.
Does anyone have a question for Mr. Marucci?
I had one question, if I might.
Go ahead.
Mr. Marucci, is this lot, just trying to, whether this is a hardship on the size of the lot, is this a smaller lot comparatively, if on average, to other lots in Bloomfield in terms of size or shape?
Actually, no, it's the R1A zone, which requires 50 by 100. This is actually 54 by 100, so it's actually a little larger.
So that would probably, Mr. Marucci, contribute to its, the lot's ability to absorb any water from the patio,
Yes.
perhaps?
In my opinion, yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
I don't know.
Any other questions?
Yeah, it is Michael Rubin. I know this is really relevant, but it's something that comes up often, and it's something that we have proposed to change in the ordinance, but the coverages on these lots are relatively low, considering that many of them have detached garages. And it's the extra pavement necessary to reach those attached garages that a lot of times result in these coverage problems. And I think that when Anthony and I worked on some amendments to the zoning ordinance that are now being reviewed, we recommended upping those coverages a little bit and hopefully minimize these kinds of applications.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Rubin. Any other questions from Mr. Marucci?
It sounded like one of the phones.
Hear no one, thank you, Mr. Marucci. Is there any member of the public who wishes to be heard?
I don't see anybody. There's barely
Hear
anybody
no
left.
All right, Ms. Shin, we give the applicants the opportunity to summarize. If you wish to do so, you may summarize.
I want to thank you for considering this application, and I'm hoping to get approval for it.
All right, thank you, Ms. Shin. Time for public hearing is closed. Board, time for discussion.
Mr. Balnicky, I think Mr. Marucci's comments are very well taken with this application, and I just see, no problem at all with it.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Balnicky. Any?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I agree with Mr. Valnicki, as well as with the testimony of the applicant and Mr. Marucci. I don't see that as well, that there should be an issue here.
All right, thank you, Mr. Pence. Anyone else?
Same for me as well. I think actually Mr. Rubin's comments helped me sort of wrap my head around what was going on when I was looking at the application. And I think that's something worth considering as well. So, yeah, I would be okay to approve this application as well.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Wagner. Anyone else? Anyone else?
He approves.
The dog approves.
The dog is hungry. All right. I think no one else wishes to speak. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve this application.
Mr. Balnicki moves it. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Wagner?
Mr. Wagner. We have a motion to approve and a second. Please poll the board.
Okay, Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Prince?
Yes.
Mr. Valnicki?
Yes.
Mr. Wagner?
Yes.
Ms. Hilaire?
Yes.
Chairman Michalski?
Yes, application is approved.
Yeah.
See that? All that work, it was worth it, right, Ms. Chin? I know, it's a lot of work.
Thank you for all the help you gave me.
Not a problem. You're all done.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good evening. Board, is there any other business to discuss this evening?
That's all I have.
Can I ask?
Hearing no one?
Oh, wait, somebody
Go
has a
ahead.
question?
I do. Did we skip old business letter E?
No, it was adjourned to October 7th.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I had one question.
Go ahead.
Did we discuss or approve in-person meetings? I believe it was through end of year.
Correct.
That's correct. We decided to continue with virtual meetings for the rest of 2021.
Okay, just want to make sure.
And Ms. Costenza is working on the schedule of meetings for 2022. And I've asked Ms. Costenza, in consideration of the volume of business we have, to schedule 2 meetings per month. And if for some reason the second meeting is not needed, it can be canceled. But it's much better to establish dates and publish the date in our advertisement at the beginning of the year than to try to do it on the fly. And there's no signs of let up of the volume of business going to happen.
Now, I have 4 new applications sitting in my office, ready to be deemed complete and sent out to you guys, so 4 more coming at you.
Mr.
Anything else,
Marucci, one question, Mr. Marucci. With the application for the 4 garages, with the antique cars, do we know what kind of antique cars he has?
He's got some beautiful stuff.
Yes.
I believe he has Corvettes, if I remember.
Oh,
Corvette.
oh.
Yeah, among others.
I wish I had that size garage for my own cars.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna establish a nice workbench in the back there, and the whole bit's gonna be really well done.
I have a 1958 Cadillac
Oh, you're killing me, Anthony.
and a 1970 Buick Skylark.
I love it.
Nice.
My muscle car.
Yeah, Goodfellas and My Cousin Vinny there, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, God.
All right, so I think we're done.
That's it. That's everything,
I
guys.
have a motion to adjourn.
So move, Mr.
Motion.
Chairman.
Mr. Prince moves the adjournment. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Johnson seconds. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Hearing no one opposed, we are adjourned. Thank you very much, board.
Good job, guys. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.